YouTube, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Justice coming at y'all with another YouTube read, another collective energy read. I hope this finds you guys at a clarifying time in your day. Remember to take what resonates and please leave the motherfucking rest behind. I hope this finds you guys at a resonating point. Remember to take what resonates and leave the rest behind. Let's go ahead and get started. Angels of the highest of white light, archangels, please bestow upon me with clear and concise channel messages that accommodate with the message that I have to deliver. Thank you and Ashe. So the message that I have for you guys is that a lot of you guys, things change really drastically around you guys' energy in terms of the impact that you can give to other people. A lot of you guys have a big energy about you or a grand energy about you that people take to. And there's a reason for the way that people take to certain parts of your energy at certain times. A lot of you guys find a lot of different spirits or a lot of different correspondences to why people take to your spirit, and when I go in, we're going to go into that, but there's something about the correspondence to why people attract to your spirit the way that they do, and we're going to get into that. So a lot of you guys in my divine collective align with that path of a royal kind of jurisdiction. When I say royal, it's more ancient, so meaning that it goes back a certain time into certain timelines to where you are operating in a certain role. And so these things are usually gratified back to you more naturally, even if you haven't learned them or even if you haven't experienced or executed upon these things in this lifetime. A lot of you guys will understand exactly what I'm saying. A lot of you guys, with that being said, a lot of you guys have inherited healing abilities. A lot of you guys have inherited wealth. A lot of you guys have inherited a certain stability or a certain intellect, a certain gift about you that a lot of people may take to before you inhabit it or before you're able to execute upon it or even bring it into fruition. But the correspondence to why these things happen is corresponding to why I'm doing this message. So let's go ahead and get started. But a lot of you guys have a big energy about you and a grand presence about you in which you feel this kind of call, in which you're aligned to this kind of channel with, right? And so we're going to get into why that is. And so a lot of you guys have understood that you had to protect your energy. A lot of you guys have understood that you had to protect your boundaries in certain scenarios, whether it's your family members, whether it's just common strangers, whether it's in a certain industry that you're enacting in. A lot of you guys are my creatives. A lot of you guys are my activists. A lot of you guys are moving with a certain pull or a certain push to a certain purpose for a certain reason. And so with that, there's something that it can accrue over time in terms of this reverence in the spirit that you can accumulate. And when I say reverence, it's some type of spiritual ordinance in terms of protection. If it's not protection, it's a spiritual, like, for lack of better words, like an enlargement about your presence that people can feel, sense, see, hear, or correspond to. And so they usually can attract to you without prior understanding of why. Some people may understand why. A lot of you guys run across certain energies and dynamics with vampiric dynamics or vampiric cycles, relationships, standards in terms of you having to revitalize your sense of self, your sense of identity, or your sense of just boundaries on a basic level. And these are these reasons that a lot of you guys have to go through these kind of, phases and cycles of your life, because you have to learn how to not only obtain, but to maintain the balance of your energy that you're upholding. A lot of times we're not as so aware of what people can see in our energies, what people sense in our energies. A lot of times it's not so easy for us to see within what people see outside of us. And so this kind of message is for a lot of you guys that deal with certain behaviors or certain dynamics in your life for certain reasons. And we're going to get into those reasons. So let's go ahead and begin with, a lot of you guys have these gifts that are enacted in you. Maybe it's not fully activated yet. Maybe it is fully activated. A lot of you guys are walking in your purposes. A lot of you guys are walking in your talents. A lot of you guys are walking in your knowledges that you're spreading across the world. A lot of you guys are walking with a certain connectivity to spirit that you would like to provide for others in some type of expression, some type of validated way that is outside of yourself. And so with that message, there's something about what that can attract. And so a lot of you guys can have been in engagements with certain behaviors or certain entrapments may be set for you. And when I say entrapments, you know exactly what I mean. A lot of you guys go through these things. I see a lot of comments talk about certain just governing trafficking systems or certain things that are supposed to keep you boxed in. And so There's a reason for that boxing in. There's a reason for those entrapments that are set for you, because you're not supposed to, or supposed to, right, systematically get past a certain point so you can express what that is that I'm talking about, that enlargement in your energy, or that gift in your energy, that grace or that anointing in your energy. We can call it for generalization. It's going to be different for a lot of different people, right? But there's things that happen in these there's things that go into these circumstances that are for you to prevail through and empower yourself, or learn certain aspects of yourself through the reflection of how other people are treating this energy. A lot of you guys are my healers. A lot of you guys go through a lot of cycles of people taking until you're gone, until you're empty, right? A lot of you guys are going to have gifts that you would like to bestow upon the world, in terms of you want people to access or sense or feel or hear or interpret what you have to put out, right? And a lot of you guys may not have the best outcomes or the fairest outcomes with these situations, in terms of why people take to your energy. A lot of you guys, with the central theme of this message, to go back to it, there's something about a lot of you guys going through a lot of, people attaching to you, or people trying to glue to this energy, or maybe an aspect of your energy. A lot of you guys may come from wealth. A lot of you guys may come from a general sense or a general theme of some type of generational wealth that I'm speaking of, because that's what that is, right? Whether it's a spiritual gift, whether it's an inheritance of wisdom, whether it's a knowledge that you have that most people do not have, or whether it's just a simple gift or a healing expression that is put into you for a certain purpose. And a lot of you guys are brought to my channel because of these certain purposes that you feel, but you may not feel the expressional freedom to convey those things, right? And so a lot of times it comes from this, attachment thing. A lot of you guys have vampiric entities attached. A lot of you guys bring a lot of people maybe towards you, or you may feel in which you bring or attract a lot of people that have these certain kind of things in their energy. And so what that can do, it can contaminate you. As we all know, a lot of you guys are tapping into my energy. A lot of you guys are tapping in through alignment, right? If you're aligned with this message and you're understanding, remember to take what resonates and leave everything else behind. But a lot of you guys attract these energies because you're supposed to either lead them, or you're supposed to guide them in a different way than maybe you thought before. Maybe you're supposed to see it a little different than you thought before. A lot of you guys may be simply sent to heal somebody. Maybe you're simply sent to show somebody something. But a lot of times that is not gratified or warranted by some type of gratification of it. And when I say gratification, the boundary behind that jurisdiction. So the boundary behind what it is, whether it's self-respect or whether it's you giving something to somebody. Maybe that attracts somebody to treat it a little differently than what you're expecting or what you want presided. A lot of times these are reasons for you to engage in it or perceive it totally different. A lot of you guys come with a lot of packages of beneficiary gain. And when I say that, packages of beneficiary gain, it's not to look at transactionally, but sometimes a lot of you guys can relate that you can come across energies that may treat it as such, look at it as such. And so when you're going through those kind of engagements, something about the perception and ascension past that point, or ascension on a perceptual level, ascension on a give or take level, but it's usually about a perception that you're shifting from a mode of giving to a point of balance, give or take. And so a lot of you guys are learning a lot of presidings over how you're giving and pushing and receiving something back. So what I'm trying to say, a lot of you guys attach things to your path that recognize the value of your path, or a value of what you have to offer on that path, but they may not recognize what it is that your path represents. They may not recognize what your path really is leading to. A lot of you guys are my leaders. A lot of you guys are healing. A lot of you guys are providing insight from different directions for other people to understand differently, or to heal differently, to see differently, to express differently. And there's an importance on the correspondence to your understanding of your role in that stature. And what I'm saying with that and all the fancy words, a lot of these teachings, a lot of these life lessons or life cycles we go through are for the activation of our soul to do what it is that we're here to do. And so a lot of times, a lot of things can be stripped away from us, a lot of things can be added on to us, but it's an accommodation to what the Most High needs for all of us. And so a lot of you guys understand that your connectivity to spirit is a little different than maybe the next person. Your connectivity to your gifts may be a little different than the next person. And a lot of these things can be very attractive outside of yourself. And when I say attractive, it can attract certain things to pull towards you, right, on an energetic level. And so a lot of times we're not seeing what it is that we're putting out or pushing out or pulling in until these type of engagements are happening, till something gets contaminated, right? And so with the contamination aspect, I want a certain perceptual, I want a lot of people to just think back in terms of a zoom out perspective level, in terms of how it is that you're pushing out your gifts, how it is that you're pushing out or perceiving your gifts. And I want you to kind of compare that, I want you to compare that psychological analysis to how other people are treating those aspects of you. And what that conclusion you'll usually come to is that conclusion is based off, that psychological analysis is usually based off of how you're perceiving your own gifts. And a lot of times the shift comes from the point of you shifting exactly what you're doing with your gifts, maybe on a bigger level, maybe on a grander level, or maybe it's the perception of you taking back your energy. A lot of you guys are dealing with a lot of vampiric energy attachments. A lot of you guys deal with a lot of these corresponding forces that want to box you in a certain way for a certain reason. And so what I'm saying with this message is, it's something about a zoom out and understanding the magnetism of your energy, or the magnetism of what it is that your energy can do. And so with this message, a lot of you guys attract people upon your path for maybe reasons unbeknownst to you, maybe reasons unbeknownst to them. But there's an equal give and take in terms of the correspondence to what that value is. And a lot of you guys are the first step in that, in terms of how you shift the perspective of, okay, somebody taking your energy or somebody overstepping your boundaries. It's the shift in terms of maybe you putting something out, or maybe you not putting something out. The shift in the energy is what creates this space for those contaminants to have the freedom to either release or to evolve with you. A lot of you guys are my leaders, a lot of you guys are my healers, and a lot of you guys need a reaffirmation of a certain magnetism in your energy that you can attract things, and there's something about understanding why it is that certain people, whether it's your gifts, your talent, whether it's somebody that hates on your talent, hates on your gift, or hates on something that about you, there usually is something that you can still learn from that backward kind of mirror in terms of what that means about your energy. A lot of you guys have a special energy. A lot of you guys are enacting in your roles a certain way that may trigger certain spirits in a certain way. And so with those triggerings, you can take that data back to yourself and you can revitalize that into something else. And so this is a message, kind of like a zoom out perceptual message. My first video back, I'm finna get started on another one. But this was one that I felt like to start off with because I wanted to talk about perceptual shifts in terms of a contamination aspect. A lot of you guys are contaminated, or a lot of you guys go through these boxing ins, whether it's systematic, whether it's on a different level, whether it's with your own family, whether it's on an occult level. You know, a lot of you guys come from different storylines and different situations, but it all corresponds to the same thing that reflects back in you. And I think that's my last message for this one. But if you need a person with me, hit up Shamika's son with a cnshamika@gmail.com. Remember, I got a couple more collaboration opportunities that I wanted to share with you guys, but when that's finalized, I'll share them with you. But there's 3 that I want to, they're going to be in the description, 20% off of each one. With Amazon Web Services, if you're interested in any programming or development kind of tools and resources, it's a whole pool of tools and resources that have to do with software development and things like that. All type of different, well, that's self-explanatory. But the next one with the Rose Forever New York, if you're interested in any rose bouquets or any type of flower decor, 20% off of each will be in the description below. And last but not least, I got an otter spirit. You already know if you've been rocking with me for a long time. If you're new here, welcome. But Otter Spirit is a jeweler company, vibration enhancing jewelry, that sells vibration enhancing jewelry that uplifts the vibration of your being through the crystals that are embedded in its gems, through necklaces, watches, all types of things like that. But if you need anything else from me, everything else should be in the description. I'm about to get started on my next video, but it's your boy Justice. Peace out, y'all.